Future of English. As English spreads around the world, new varieties of English are born. This creates families of English languages. And MacArthur states that we need to talk about families of English languages in the same way we refer to Germanic, Slavic, or Romance languages. So basically what this means is around the different countries, English is spoken, but it's spoken in different ways. And there are lexical differences in all the different English families. Some of these examples include flat and biscuit versus apartment and cookie. In British English, flat and biscuit means the same things as it does in the United States English as apartment and cookie. Another example would be good day versus hello. In Australian English, it's pronounced good day. In US and British English, it's pronounced hello. A final example would be very well in New Zealand English versus to barack for in Australian English. In expanding circle countries, American and British English now compete as the main target variety. The desire for a shared language and the desire for the opportunities available for speakers of English competes with the desire to maintain more local identities and languages. So basically this just means there's opposing views on whether to adopt English as a main language or to keep their native language. And an example of these opposing views actually takes place in Kenya, where they capture many of the concerns of other languages. So one person states that African writers are bound to calling to do for the languages what Shakespeare did for English. Another view of this that opposes it is learning English will give much needed unifying chord and land them into an exciting world of ideas. So he wants to clearly adopt English, whereas the other guy thinks they need to keep their native language. There's benefits to both a global language or to maintaining the native language. The benefit to a global language would be it facilitates communication in all areas. Benefit to maintaining language would be it's fundamental to world's culture and speakers' identities. So what happens after modern language? Well, there's a chance that at the end of the 20th century, it will be marked as the transition period in history of English because of the internet. Historians may decide 1970s will mark the new era with the invention of the internet. So this was the time when technology was increasing and the internet was created, which was like revolutionary to written communication. So the internet has a huge effect on our language, on the English language. It destabilizes our notion of text and its permanence in authorship. It creates a new kind of literacy, and it widens the range and speed of written communication beyond what can be imagined with printed text. It also expands English into other countries easier because people can communicate across the world better, quicker, and more efficiently. English and electronically mediated communication. Computer-based tools are revolutionizing many aspects of life. This is done through email and text friends around the world. They find information, take classes, and shop online. Point and click on websites and spending hours surfing the web. So these words, email, text, online, point, click, surfing the web, those phrases and stuff have contributed to the language of English. All because of the internet. In addition to that, there is a bunch of words that have been added to the American Dialect Society votes because of the internet. So like the word of the year 2002 is Y2K, 1990's word of the decade was web, 2000 most useful word was .com, in 1999 the most creative word was multi-slagging, in 2004 the most useful word was podcast, in 2005 the most useful word was tweet, and in the 2000s the word of the decade was to Google. These are all words derived from the internet. In electronic communication. Electronic communication is accused of ruining communication because of the allowed misspellings, bizarre abbreviations, run-on sentences, or fragments. There's a mimicry of the spoken language in writing. The recipient is still usually not physically present, so some shared context is lost, as well as the use of gestures and facial expressions are lost in electronic communications. So these are all like concerns of electronic communication, and due to the nature of the medium means, we often do not reread or edit before sending, which created new inventions such as the asterisk or the upper caret arrow. And so this is usually used to like edit the word, like if you were to type your and not, or forget the little parenthesis, the comma thing, you would put asterisk and then like repeat the word appropriately, and that's just something that has been invented because of electronic communication. So it's like revolutionized. Also, there's clear style shifting in electronic communication. It can control multiple registers of discourse. It can shift from formal, such as like letter or memo, to informal, like written chatting. Informal is more interesting to examine because we see the written language of the web pages or email trying to accomplish discourse function. And because of this, things like abandoning capitalization, no formal greetings or signatures, there's a worry less of spelling, and it represents their spoken pronunciations, such as thinking. So thinking is actually spelled T-H-I-N-K-I-N-G. Well, because of electronic communication, it's just pronounced, or they write it as it's pronounced without the G. Also, there have been lots of acronyms added to the English language because of electronic communication. Some of these include BEFORE, which is before. BFG stands for big effing deal. BRB stands for be right back. CU sounds just like it is, see you. CUL is see you later. IDK is I don't know. JK is just kidding. LOL stands for laugh out loud. THX is thanks. And TTYL is talk to you later. Those are just some really common ones that have been added because of electronic communication. And then emoticons are a huge thing right now, especially, that have been added because of electronic communication. And these are just the blend of emotional and icon. These are like those smiling, winking, frowning, expressing faces you see in text messages or IMs and stuff like that. And they actually do have a great purpose. They serve as a discourse function. This just means it helps create the context for a comment that might be ambiguous. So here's like at the bottom of the slide, you can see examples of what emoticons are. And they actually have been creating lots and lots more emojis. In this next video you're gonna see some of these.
Surprised me? Chris? Broken heart. Face that looks like Edward Monk's The Scream. Two people with a heart in between them. Scary one-nosed devil face. Lipstick, high heels, flexed bicep. Two little dancing girls wearing cat ears. Ellie, St. Clair! Mustache man! Mustache man!
Googly eyes, little boy face.
Flamenco woman. Cheersing frothy beer steins. Little family, wedding ring. Smiling poop, sweat droplets.
Adult woman face. Pointy finger, A-OK hand. Offensive racial stereotype. So, little angel boy.
Cat face that looks like Edward Monk's The Scream? Blushing face. Two little dancing girls wearing cat ears. Text bubble. Wedding ring. Scissors.
Walking man. Offensive racial stereotype. Cancer, astrological sign. Adult woman face.
Piano evil monkey.
Angry face.
Two little dancing girls wearing cat ears and knife. Crying face. Donut. Thief. Gun. Syringe. Knife.
Hands.
So that video basically just showed how emojis and electronic communication is changing the way we talk and the way we communicate. It's obviously an over-exaggeration, but it just kind of shows how it's changing. So, to wrap it up, the future of the English language, internet is allowing English to spread around the world in ways that would have been inconceivable only a few decades ago. Language mixing on the internet may affect the future of English. Internet and text users will probably continue to develop the lexicon and generic conventions that will characterize informal electronic communication, and we are adapting the written conventions we know to create a recognizable way to communicate informally in a new written medium.